This is Cities in Motion 2, and I'm going to attempt to fix a traffic problem. There's a major traffic jam on both the southbound and the northbound highway that in part is caused by this traffic circle. The traffic circle prevents the northbound traffic in this area. It will clog the traffic. And I know you see that the southbound is also very slow, but here's an example where it's starting to happen. And I'm going to be fixing the northbound traffic first. And the northbound traffic is backed up over here, and it's backed up over here. So by fixing this junction, it should loosen up a lot of traffic that's headed northbound. And as you can see, north of this circle, which is right here, there's no traffic. So the way I'm going to fix it, obviously, is by removing that little crossover, which means that I have to find a way to get the southbound traffic to cross over to head eastbound. This is the eastbound lane. Sorry that it's a little bit slow, it's not highlighting it. That's the eastbound that I want the southbound to connect to, this being the southbound right here. And I'm probably going to do it with only one lane. And I've got a lot of room. One of the ideas that I had was I could go through here, over the monorail, and then connect to there. Or I could go down this way, over this road, and easily connect right into there. The other option, of course, is to go right over this, knock out these buildings, and connect directly to that. But it knocks down a lot of buildings, and I want to avoid knocking down buildings. So I'm going to try to build right over here. Let's see if I can do it. So I've got this little winding road, and it looks like it works. It actually did not knock the building down, which is very good. I'm going to go over this, which means I have to be 16 meters minimum. Okay, there is, I had it. Okay, there it is. I'm going to place it, and if I place it, I'm guaranteed to make the connection. And now all I have to do is connect these two. I don't want to knock those buildings down, so I'm going to leave it at that. And I'm going to rebuild this other section. You have to remove this little piece because it might not connect exactly the same. So I have to go using the page up key. I'm going to go up to 16 meters. I'm going to connect. I'm going to make a little pivot point so it will be a curve. And it will connect right in. So that should alleviate some of the traffic jam from the northbound traffic. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to use the bulldozer. I'm going to scan this bridge, and I'm going to remove these little short pieces, which is going to make the bridge all one road. So now you should see the bridge has become all one piece. Hopefully people will start using that exit. There we go, we got the first car going over that exit. So that did alleviate the northbound traffic. We're going to have fewer traffic jams, but I still have to fix the problem with this other crossover. Unfortunately, vehicles that are heading south from the westbound, this is the westbound right here, and they want to go south, they're using this little crossover, so I have to figure out a solution. It's probably going to involve knocking down some buildings. I don't see any other choice. This building here, the apartment building, and the commercial building are probably going to disappear. But other than that, it should be an easy connection. I'm going to remove that piece. I'm going to remove this little connection here. And I'm probably going to do just one lane. I'm going to connect from here. I'm going to use the page up to go up to 16 meters, which will clear that point. It will do a little pivot, and we'll come back down and reconnect, hopefully. I think I'm going to connect it like that. And hopefully that will resolve the traffic problems that I was having. At least for the northbound traffic. Northbound traffic now has a clear path. You can see they only have 2 lanes, which means it's very important that they have as clear of a path as possible. This part right here bends into where, I had to knock down a lot of buildings in order to build that, which is unfortunate. I could straighten it out, which would allow me to have more buildings, and then these overpasses would have to be on the outside similar to this one in order for that to happen. But it would restore all the buildings that were lost when I knocked them down. So let's see about, I expect the northbound traffic to clear up. Let's check the southbound traffic. As you can see, we got a lot of southbound traffic. We've got this traffic that comes over here, and we've got this traffic here going south. It's definitely blocked. All the southbound traffic is going on the outer loop. And it's all taking this exit here. And it's merging with this westbound traffic. That's the merge point right there. And in addition, you've got northbound traffic that comes around this loop and connects. So we've got traffic from every direction. The south, the north, and the westbound traffic is all trying to make it over this bridge. One of the things that I did was I made a lower deck, which is depicted right here, which allows some of the traffic to bypass the congestion on the upper deck. And it was working. A lot of vehicles were using it, but apparently right now it's not getting any use. There is an on-ramp over here to the lower deck, and there's another on-ramp right here, which comes from here that goes to the lower deck. So both of these incoming lanes have access to the lower deck. For some reason, they're not using it right now. I'm going to have to figure out why. It seems like the vast majority of the traffic is headed for my service road, which is right here. And it looks like they are continuing on the service road. It's Sunday at 1 a.m. It could be because of the Sunday 1 a.m. traffic that they're not using that lower deck, and they're all heading to the Opera House. I'm going to go take a look at that lower deck. The lower deck has this extension right here. And this extension merges it back with the upper deck. Doesn't go directly to the Opera House, bypasses it. But it's possible that I might be able to build something off of this. Let's take a look. This is the lower deck right here. Okay, so here's what I see. I could take this lower deck, run parallel to the pedestrian bridge, go underneath this highway and this highway, and bring the traffic deeper into the city. Let's see if it works. I'm going to use a single lane. And keep in mind, I do not expect it to work. I'm going to connect from here to here. Okay, actually, it looks like it will work. I'm going to connect from there to there. And then I'm going to try to go down. It's going to be very difficult to lay this road down. It's going to be very tricky. As you can see, there are pedestrians walking across the bridge. That was something that I was waiting to happen. I thought okay, it looks like I laid down the road, but unfortunately, it's very difficult to find. But it's there. Okay. This right here it's very difficult to get there. This is the connecting piece right here. And I was able to make the connection. It looks like I'm able to cross under, but I have to figure out what the ultimate destination is going to be. So there is a road there. It has to pass under another road, and it has to pass under the rail system. I could reconnect it anywhere along this area. I could connect it to this road over here, which I'm referring to the lower road. I could connect it to this intersection, which would lose that building. I could connect it to this lower intersection. I could bring it where this on-ramp is going to. I have a lot of options. The question is, which one is the best? So I'm going to find the road, which appears to be... It's very difficult to find, but it looks like it might be right there. Okay. Let's see how deep we can go. Okay, so I found a point where it could cross over, and I could connect it right here. Or I could connect it right there. It's going to be a long, winding road. Okay, just for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to find the endpoint, which appears to be right there. I'm going to extend it a little bit. Put it right there. And again, I have no idea what I'm going to connect it to yet. I could easily connect it to this road over here, which is another underpass. We cleared the rail system. I could bring it back to the surface. Okay, so here I've been able to clear under the underpass. Okay, the Sydney Opera House is, I will show you exactly where it is. It's right there. The question is, can we get this little road to connect somewhere useful? Such as right here, it's a little bit too steep. Okay, so it did make the connection, and there it is. So I was able to take that lower deck, which is unused right now, and I was able to connect it to the destination of the Sydney Opera House. I'm going to highlight the road. This is the lower deck in green. This is where it splits. The road goes under here where it's highlighted in green. It continues to here, to this highlighted area. I think I can delete that. Okay. Let's see if we can get all one road. I gotta remove a little piece that is right under there. Very difficult to get through. I hope that's it. Okay, so now you can see there's one more tiny piece right there. Now you can see the road in its entirety. This is the new connection. It's that green highlighted road that goes from the lower bridge over to the area that the cars tend to head for the Opera House. Usually you just have to wait a short while before vehicles start taking that underpass. But I do see that there are cars on the lower deck occasionally. I saw one car go by. And we'll know that there's cars using it because there's so much traffic over here they're going to have to stop. So as you can see, there are a few vehicles on the lower deck using this on-ramp over here, Hickory Way. One thing that I noticed about the Sydney Opera House, it has 600 workplaces, which is listed in this little pop-up window. And workers, it says 228. And since I've been playing, that number has increased very slowly. Probably hours go by just to see the number of workers go up by one. Another thing about that underpass that I made, which is very important. So I have an underpass that connects right here. It's rather long, and it goes from that double-decker bridge. I can extend that further into the mainland. So if I want to, I could connect it to this other highway. I could connect it to some of the other roads. And I could just keep continuing underneath the surface. Right now, I'm not going to do that because it looks like there's not a lot of traffic on these roads, and it will probably be a long time before I get more traffic there. It's really not necessary, but it's one of the options that I have that I'm glad that I have. It's nice to be able to have the ability to have an underground highway. So there's a lot of traffic now, and and I'm a little bit surprised as to the amount of traffic that I have. I'm going to check to see other problem spots. Okay, so we've got a lot of traffic on this road, which is southbound. This was where we started. We created this, there used to be a little traffic circle here. Now it's gone. And the northbound has no problem, but the southbound is still a little bit busy. And some of the options we have is we can widen the road to make it into a 5-lane road, but I don't think that's going to be a solution because they're stopped for a different reason. They're all tending to go to the same point where we have our double-decker bridge. They're getting onto this road, they're doing the merge, and over here traffic is speeding up. Okay, so this is where the double-decker bridge is. This is the lower deck, this is the upper deck. I'm going to see if I can get more traffic to that lower deck. We have a way of doing it. We've got this traffic that's taking this exit, merging into here to the upper deck. I'm going to see if I can get it to go from here to here onto the lower deck, which means I'm going to have to make that connection. I might have to remove this little section here, move it to another place. I should easily be able to go right here and connect to that lower deck. And there it is. So there is the on-ramp. And this will probably have to connect somewhere along here. And it looks like it doesn't. Okay, so here's a way to make the connection, which will give me room for the other connection that I need. The other option is I try to connect further down. Oh, and it looks like it works. Okay, so I'm going to build that connection. I'm going to remove the existing one. And I'm going to remove these little areas where the on-ramp and the off-ramp connected. And I'm going to take the southbound highway, and I'm going to connect it to the lower deck. Hopefully it will be an easy connection. It looks like it's not, because we have that pedestrian bridge. I don't think it's going to be possible to make the connection right there, but that does not mean it is impossible. I'm going to remove this connection. We already know we can make the connection. I'm going to start on the southbound traffic. I'm going to go up to 16 meters, which is right here. And then I am going to bring it back down to 0, and I'm going to make that connection. That is also 16 meters. And there's the connection. Now the question is, will this traffic head in that direction? So will this traffic here, which is actually southbound traffic, will this southbound traffic take this off-ramp? See a few cars going by, nobody's taken it yet. Everyone is still going for that upper deck, which obviously increases the congestion. Got a lot of cars. This is the upper deck traffic. So we don't want them to take this on-ramp, we want them to head for this off-ramp. Okay, the next guy missed it. Got a lot of vehicles just going right by. Okay. Is there a way to make them take it? Obviously there is. And the way to do it is to make it more appealing on the other end. So what we can do is go to the other end of the bridge, to the lower deck, and try to find a way to make it go places where these other vehicles might want to go. Because right now the lower deck does not have the most flexibility. It does connect to the service road, and it does connect to, this is actually a westbound road right here. So you can get in most of the directions, but it looks like, yeah, it looks like you can get in every direction by taking the lower deck. So the lower deck is essentially a replica of the upper deck, although I don't think it's identical. As you can see, some of the vehicles are starting to use this bypass, this underpass, which is the lower deck. So some of the vehicles have taken advantage of it. There is a way that I know I could get people on that lower deck. Right now, everyone's going to the Sydney Opera House. However, it's not always like that. This off-ramp over here is also busy very frequently. So we could bypass that off-ramp, which would require a connection from here to here where the red line is. So that's one thing we can do. The other thing we could do, excuse me, we've got this lower level road, which is right here. We could increase the number of connections that this lower level road has. For example, we could connect it to this road, which goes underneath. It's highlighted in green and loops back. This easy connection to make. You can see that the roads cross over very closely. The road comes in from here. So what I would do is I would start here and I would connect it to this road. I could easily do it simply by making various loops and spirals. I could easily make that connection. That connection is actually designed for people to head back over the bridge. So even if I did make the connection, it wouldn't be very useful. We've got this section. We could connect it to the road surface, this intersection right here, for example. There's a lot of cars on it now. There is this road right here that I could connect it to. I could just connect it to that intersection right there, which is in red. There is an intersection right here. If I could only highlight it. But it's definitely there. In fact, I think there should be a road underneath. There's a road right here that it could be connected to. And there's the intersection. However, there is a cost involved. Obviously, any buildings that are right there, those buildings would disappear. Okay. The question was, would they take that new on-ramp. And I'm going to show you a way that you can check to see if people have been using it. You click on the street. This is called Elm Way. I know that I hope I clicked on the right one. It says it is. Don't go by that little white circle. That little white circle is not accurate. But as you can see on this little pop-up, in the last hour it has 3% usage. There's some vehicles that are going on it right now. So it looks like the southbound traffic is starting to use it. The reason why they probably weren't using it before is because those cars already had a destination in mind. They already were queued up for that on-ramp. And you have to wait until all those cars get on the on-ramp before they start choosing the new path. But that should alleviate some of the traffic and get it onto that lower deck. See, there's a lot of buses, and those buses only make a few stops ferrying people from one side to the other. Okay, so this video was about reducing the southbound and the northbound traffic on this island. Let's see how it's doing. Obviously the northbound traffic is totally cleared up, but we still have a traffic jam for the southbound traffic, even though I gave them a little bit more space on that lower deck. Now you'll see here that this bridge has very little traffic on it. So the traffic does appear to be moving. All this southbound traffic. So it has made an impact. This was what we were trying to lighten up. And the way was to give them two different choices. It's definitely working. They're moving through here more quickly because there's less traffic over here. But this is too much traffic. Obviously something needs to be done. I need to come up with a method to get these vehicles. Here you can see there's a problem with this line. Bus line 62 has a lot of vehicles that have maintenance problems. So I'm going to go to the depot. Let's see how big the line is. That line goes the entire route. It's a pretty long line. The bus depot has 15 buses for the route, and a lot of them are at 0%. But I'm going to fix this problem. So basically the issue is that we don't have enough buses, or they're not being repaired fast enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to purchase more buses. The total number of buses we have is the maintenance capacity, which is 20, plus the total of all the bus lines, in this case is 15. So 20 plus 15 is 35. We only have 21, which means I can buy 14 more buses without having them queue up outside. And I'm going to look for buses that have a fast repair time. I'm going to buy 10 of those. And I'm going to buy 4 of these. As you can see, bus line 62 is showing up in the messages, showing that the vehicles are having technical problems. So hopefully that line will fix itself with the changes that I've made. But it does take time. It's going to take probably a half an hour to an hour before that problem is fixed. I'm just going to take a quick scan to see if there's any more traffic congestion in the usual areas. Okay, so that southbound traffic, one of the things, this bridge over here has the bus lane. I think that for the most part they're more trouble than they're worth, so I'm probably going to replace this bridge to get rid of those bus lanes. And you have to ask yourself, why are these cars going across to the island to get into this big southbound traffic jam? And the southbound traffic on the other side is really light. It would be nice if they took advantage of both, but apparently they don't. Okay, so the last time, I think it was pretty similar. We had lightning up on this bridge, picks up a little heading out to here, heading for this lower deck. The upper deck is still busier, but the traffic is still moving. So now we have a slowdown over here. Few ways to fix this. One thing I can do is I can make this from a 3-lane into a 4-lane or a 5-lane, and it's going to be a little bit more difficult than normal construction because it's built very close to this other highway. And because it's so close, expanding it to a 4-lane is going to create some problems. So I might have to delete these on-ramps and off-ramps in order to finish that construction. Put a little bit more space. Like over here I could probably do it, but over here there's not enough space to insert the 4-lane or the 5-lane. The other thing I could do is I could take this on-ramp and I could extend it back a little so that there's a service road and it goes into the on-ramp, and all these vehicles will shift onto that service road and won't bunch up over here. I don't understand why they're bunching up over here. It makes no sense because obviously there's plenty of room for them to get on that on-ramp. But here's basically what's happening. You've got 3 lanes, and you've got the lane, the inside lane and the outside lane. Let's refer to it as the lane at the top, the lane in the middle, and the lane at the bottom. The cars on the top lane are trying to cut across. You can see that that's exactly what's happening in order to take that exit. And by doing so, they're preventing all the other cars from moving. Because what they're doing is, over here, some of the vehicles are using that open top lane to cut in front of other cars, which is happening right in the highlighted area. And that's what's causing the traffic slowdown. So there has to be a way to fix it. Like I said, expanding the number of lanes can definitely alleviate the problem. Putting an on-ramp on the inside could also do it so that those cars can use the on-ramp instead. But one of those solutions is going to have to be implemented. Otherwise, it's just going to continue to have traffic issues for the remainder of the game. I'm thinking that the best thing to do might be to implement some form of a service road. There's definitely plenty of space to do it. The other option is I can widen the on-ramp, make it 3 lanes, and widen this bridge to 4 or 5 lanes. But really what I got to do is widen this right here. So when you widen this into 4 lanes, that 4th lane, I'm gonna put it like this. The 4th lane, which is the right lane, is going to be queued to take that off-ramp. So they're going to be all the way on that right. And there will be no cars in that right lane that are going to head in that direction. It's pretty much guaranteed. They will move to the right in order to get that off-ramp. That's why you want to have a 4-lane road over here. But I'm pretty much guaranteed that it's not going to fit. And it looks looks like there's some sort of a bus stop over here. Oh no, it's for the water bus, so we don't have to worry about these. I could easily delete this. Let's see if we can fit a 4-lane highway right here. Oh wow, it actually fit. Okay, I am going to delete this. And I'm going to delete this. I'm going to see if I can make a 5-lane road from here. What I'm doing is I'm not putting it where the 3-lane would go. I'm angling it so it goes out a little bit, because I know that it'll allow it to fit. As you can see, it fits. So I'm going to angle it like this, and then I have to connect to the other end, which looks like it will have no problem. Unfortunately, there is a problem. It's not doing the connection. Eventually, I'll make this connect one way or another. Okay. The way to fix this, unfortunately, is going to be to delete one of the two. I got rid of that on-ramp. I'm going to remove that road. I'm going to build this connection, page up to 8 meters. It will go to here. I will then rebuild the 3-lane road that goes under, and I'm going to rebuild the off-ramp that connects to the bridge. So now I have widened the road, which will alleviate some of the traffic congestion. And in the meantime, I'm going to try and get these off-ramps back to where they were, which I might not be able to do. But that's okay. It wasn't a heavily trafficked road. I'm not losing anything. But I do expect the congestion to improve here. So I'm going to repeat what the solution is. The cars have a 5-lane road. The 2 lanes on the right are going to be for cars that are taking the off-ramp, and the 3 on the left are going to be for car. Oh, did I do it wrong? I did it wrong. This was intended to be a 3-lane road. I accidentally put a 2-lane road. So I'm going to rebuild that with 3 lanes. Okay. So that will alleviate the problem. Basically what you do is you widen the road when you have an off-ramp so that the cars that take that off-ramp have their own dedicated lanes. And it's unlikely that the cars on those rightmost lanes are going to take the left connection. Could happen, I don't know. But hopefully it's unlikely. Okay, so it's going to be a while before we know if this worked. I'm going to check again. Okay, now we've got lower road congestion. You can see that a lot of vehicles have used the new on-ramp. I'm going to highlight it. This is the new on-ramp. And I wanted vehicles to use that route, and they definitely are. let's see what's going on the other side. It looks like these vehicles have found a faster path to get to the Opera House, and it is that underground road. So now this road is congested. And I can easily widen that road. It was a little tricky to build, but with careful placement I could easily widen that to increase the capacity. What the solution ultimately is going to be is to increase the public transportation to get to the Sydney Opera House. There's always going to be a lot of people here. I'm sure I've increased the number of people on this monorail. Let's see how many you got. 19 trains. Kick it up to 24. Buy a few more. Okay. So that is my solution for alleviating traffic. In another video, I will be able to see if it works in the long term or not.